Okay. So Professor Mighty was elaborately discussed about the ICH, how it's come and everything. But the whole story of Professor Mighty was nearly in the beginning of the 2000s era. So now we are in the 2026. So now the platform is changing. The coming of the new science developments day by day. So what we are now here, we are in the era of E6 R3. R means revision. So actually the ICH E6 R3 reaches the step 4 in the 2025. What is R? R means revisions. And what is step 4? Step 1 is the drafting the things, and then you are given to your public platform. That is the step 2. Step 3 is accumulating all the information, the review, revised. That is the step 3. And step 4, now the filtering everything you are giving as a rule, as a regulations. That is step 4. So the ICI E6 that is been deals with the GCP in now revision 3. This is the document history. E6 was first coming in our scenario 1995. E6 again have some changes have been done. In the first time 1995, they going up to step 2. They released for the public consultation, but not corrected it. In E6 in 1996, they coming up to the step 4, and then with the 3 ICH regulatory bodies. What are the 3 ICH regulatory bodies? They are our FDA, that is the United States. Second one is the Australia. And third one is the European Union. Still now, after the 3, there are a lot of members throughout the world, but including the China, Brazil, Argentina, every state is there. But our status still in this GCP E6 platform as an observer. Like Australia, like Russia, we are the India, nothing but we are the observer for the E6. We still not get the there are some complaint about our display, but from the backside it's good. So the Indian platform, Indian status still now as a observer. That is not still they get the membership, but the 3 pillar is our FDA, that is the United States. Second one is the European Union, and now come to the next E6 R1. You see, then come into the 1996. That is revision 1. Again, they have done the revision 2 in 2016. That is after again they do all the things like step 4 pattern. And now 2023, E6 R3 come for the step 2, and ultimately step 4 was done at the 6th January 2025. And now the clinical trial and GCP guidelines have been taken. It is the E6 R3 platform. So what is the background of the good clinical practice coming repeatedly revisions and the coming in this step. Because they reached the step 2 in 2023, there are so many public consultation was done. There are so many reviews, so many comment on the various part. Because as the science is advanced, so many consultation is coming day by day. So they first done a concept of paper and they do a business plan that is approved in 2019. And that reflection come with the public consultation, mainly focused on the transparency. They do the E6R3. Actually, in E8, there is another platform is E8. They only dealt with our study, design, and conduct. This taken into E6, and they given the name of this QBD, that is quality by design. So before there was a two platform, E6 and E8. So E8 was integrating into the E6 and given the name QBD, that is quality by design. And that is integrating into the E6. So now we are telling E6, E8 is as a E6. So the E6 from 1996, E6 revision 2 in 2016, and then E6 2025. Mainly focused on good clinical practice. The development process, firstly, they do the gap analysis, but the gap is there. They do the article, they do the responsible for our clinical trial transformation initiative, that is CTII, clinical trial transformation initiative. And then regional stakeholder engagement, that is public consultation. In the background of ICH guidelines, they have checked. The meeting, they engaged the stakeholders, that is the sponsors, the pharmaceutical company, the developer, and overall, they increase the transparency. Now, if somebody is applying for the clinical trial into our CDSO Delhi, they every day can see from our Sugam portal where the status is going on, which table the thing is there, who checked now. That is every day you can get the information how the processing is going on. It's not you submit your proposal and after 20 or 25 days you can see what is our result. That is not. Every day you can see. Because now day by day, the GCP platform is becoming more transparency. In our R3, the public consultation was done. And when we give this platform into the drafting condition from the May to November 2023, there are 7,000 comment has been come. We have reviewed it. And after this review, the new R3 and the step 4 pattern come into our platform. So the focus is gap analysis and stakeholder engagement, become more transparency, and the public consultation is the main background of the R3. When there was R2, there are a lot of feedback is coming because the clinical trial ecosystem is rapidly evolving and it is not reflect the guidelines. The academic community are concerned about the lack of proportionality, lack of risks, lack of rights. And up to R2 guidance, there was a one size fit for all. If you are doing a insulin trial or you are doing a acid disorder drug, the system was same. You have to maintaining the protocol in every step, everything. That is means one size fit for all. But now recently, the scenarios have been changing. which part is important for the our is acid peptic disorder trial, that is fixed, you can change. On the other hand, when you are doing an insulin trial, the pattern has been changing because there is a more emergency in the insulin trial. So you have to add something more. So one size is not fit for all. So you have to change. That's liberty has been coming in the R3. The ability for the clinical trial to meet the GCP requirements in different situations. Initially, you have to maintain the all protocol, but you have seen in our COVID trial, that so many changing has been done. So now, from the R3 platform, we can change any health emergency, any pan epidemic, everything we can change because this flexibility has been come in the R3. The GCP requirements were being applied were not applicable because there are some waiver also. So the rapidly evolving ecosystem, one size fit for all, lack of proportionality, and incapable for the GCP requirements is the main focus of our R2. Now new system is R3. So new structures provide the clarity, better readability, provide the additional clarity on the scope, indulge the language. Language is a big issue throughout the world. There are a lot of language. So now we are staying at a global village. So whenever any country want to show, there's a multi-centric trial, there are so many international trials. So one trial is going on India, one trial is going on Brazil, one trial is going on Spain. So whenever our PI want to see the result, immediately you see by the translate into his language. So this translation is coming, so easily he can see what is the progress is going on in India. Automatically the translation will be done, and this platform is possible through the R3. So the practical, feasible expectation is a main target. The quality by design and proportionality of the risk-based approach, and finally the responsibility of the sponsors and investigator is changing the new platform clinical trial ecosystems. So new structure, facilitating innovations and quality by designing foundation is a made for structures and content of our this EC3. So encourage the fit for purpose approach. Proportionality risk-based approach has been focused, incorporated the learning, innovative clinical design and listening, and public emergency and pandemic, encourage the transparency and provide the additional language to the informed consent process. So overview of the ICH-R3, the main platform, the main root, the stem is our principle of ICH-GCP when it was first evolved. Then we added the Annexure 1 and Annexure 2. And ultimately the ICH-EC3 is formed. So EC3 guidelines, the revised structures was the introductions, principle of the ICH-GCP, Annexure 1 and Annexure 2. Annexure 1 is now incorporating the institutional review board or the institutional ethics committee, the investigator, the sponsors, and newly coming the data governance. Because the data is the main thing. Data governance for the investigator, data governance for the sponsor. And Annexure 2 is a public consultation. Whenever there are so many intellectual persons throughout the world, so they can give any inputs to the Annexure 2. And last is the appendices. Appendix 1 is the investigator brochure. Appendix 2 is the clinical trial protocol and amendment. And Appendix 3 is essential records and conduct of the clinical trial. Investigator brochure, that is the whole story of a particular drug from the day of innovation up to the latest clinical trial whole will be amalgamated in the investigation pursuit. So it's changing. Appendix B is the clinical trial protocol and protocol amendment. Initial, when you do the protocol, that means the roadmap of your clinical trial, that you have to measure the blood pressure in a sitting conditions. But for the trial participants, you have to change it into a lying conditions. So this amendment you have to done any times. So this thing is going on. Okay. Scope. The guidelines applied the interventional clinical trial of investigational product. They are intended to be submitted by regulatory authorities. That is our ICI sponsors, and annexure will be guide you, and guidelines will encourage the risk-based and proportionality approach of the conduct clinical trial. Now the summary. Summary has been changed. Substantial changes, now so many changes. This is our actual ICI GCP in 1996. You see there is a 13 principle is there. One ethics, next is trial risks and trial benefit. Third is the trial participants. Fourth is the inform on the medicinal product, good clinical trials, compliance with study protocol, medical decisions, trial staff, informed consent, clinical trial data, confidentiality, and good manufacturing practice, that is GMP. But now, today, the ICH E6 R3 principle is 11 only. There are so many changes has been done. So one is the ethical principle, two is the informed consent, IRB and review is the 3, science, that is 4, qualified individual is the 5, quality is the 6, risk proposal is the 7, protocol is the 8, reliable result 9, roles and responsibility 10, and 11 is the investigational product. So there are changes is going on in a new platform. Mainly the new thing has been come in the ICI E6R3 principles is the proportionality risk based and roles and responsibility of the trials, resource parcels. And everything is clear. The principle 7 of the newly E6R3, that is the risks. The clinical trial process measure the approaches should be implemented in a way that proportionate of the risks of the participant and importance of the data collected are avoided unnecessary burden to the participant and the investigator. Suppose in a hilly region, one participant staying far away in the hill. So every day from coming up to your collection center for the blood is nearly 3 hours. So why not you collect the sample nearby of his house and then you take the blood sample with our cold chain systems. So this thing is coming now by day to give more risk-free and keep the right of the participant. So these changes have been done. Now one trial is going on Singapore. So they taking the participant from India, particularly from Midnapur. So Midnapur lab has collected the blood sample and is going to the Singapore lab by a cold chain system. This thing is going on nowadays. Principal chain is a role and responsibility of the clinical trial. In before, there is no clear idea about the role and responsibility of the clinical trial subject. Now so many posts is there. Not only the investigator is the sole responsibility. There is a compulsory of the co-investigator. There are so many research associates, and what responsibility each of them has been clearly written in the principle 10. So everything is revised. Ethical principle, informed consent, IRB, ILC, science, and the qualified individuals. Quality, protocol, reliable result, and the investigational product. Annexure 1. Annexure 1, particularly the institutional review, the clarity was not there in the R2, up to R2. Now in R3, you see the submissions, the communications of the R3, global language, reporting by the regulatory authorities was not in the R2, but now in R3. Explanatory was there, but not elaborately. Composition and function and operation was there, but not transparent. Procedure was there, but not clear. Records more emphasized on the record part only. So that include the global language about reporting the IRB and ICS regulatory authorities, updated to reflect the digitizations and variable approach of training consent. Every time the changing the informed consent process. Clarity, the potential and participant compensated the cost incurred and participant trial. Investigator and informed consent. The approach has been changed. The varied approach to the provision of the information and discussion for the trial can be used. That include providing the text in a different format, image, video, the interactive method, whatever may can be used for the informed consent. Now there is the electronic informed consent is there. Information should be clear, concise, simple language, unnecessary volume, complexity is not there. And is documented in a written, maybe paper, maybe electronic, signed informed consent form. But new information is coming, the stage of clinical trial, if the new information has been coming for a particular drug, this trial is going on, immediately you have to add this information to your informed consent, again re-sign it. So that is not what we are doing nowadays. We sign once, that means sign forever, not. If any information was newly gathered, we again add to it and again re-sign by the participant that this information has been come, this adverse effect was occurring in few countries, so now we are adding this point. Now again you sign it. Enroll to the minors. There was not clear idea in beforehand. Now this enroll has been redesigned. That means if a particular minor is at 10 years, so assent, that means the guardians can be signed it. If it is 14, but still not 18, so 14 he can sign. So this time the both parents also sign, the participant also sign, and his opinion is very much clear. If you don't want to stay in this your trial, he can give up. So this new change has been coming in E6R3 platform. When the child is become 18, immediately you again re-sign it. So every 2 or 3 years, if a long trial is going on, you have to re-sign every year for the, in case of minors. Investigator. On medicine background, he can do any medicine related trial, but this thing is not going on now. If any medicine background, he is very much expert. He has so many publications, in particular hypertension, so he can do the hypertensive trial. On the other hand, if any endocrine trial is going on, but any endocrinologist is available in particular institutions, so then the trial to be done by the endocrinologist only, not in the medicine background person. So this qualification and training is going on. If for medicine background person, but he has enough publications on rheumatoid arthritis, he can do the trial. So you have to know your background and then he can do the trial. The medical care was not clear in beforehand. After the trial finished, what he will do. This has been clearly written in R3 and the safety monitoring. When the patient is not getting any drug, but still he is, just entering in the trial. So in the screening process, that time the whole responsibility is going on to the sponsors. This thing is coming in new safety reporting. Responsibility, considering the patient who did not reach the routine end of the trial, the few trial persons, that is a participant, they give up from the trial, but we are not counting beforehand. Now in R3, if there is a sixth time he has to come, he came only 3 times, but you have to consider him. So there are so many processes, so many statistical software is there, so you can include that person nowadays by the help of ICH R3. Computerized systems, that is the main platform, data in source recorded, and investigational product management, that is a character of IP, root and complexity, everything is coming clearly transparent in this investigator principle in R3 platform. Sponsored, trial design and agreement. Agreement is a new term. Before there was a contract. Now the change has been done as an agreement. So now the sponsor have to do some outsourcing, that is independent data monitoring committee, IDMC, or adjudicant committee, to maintaining the pure and everything, kept the data whole thing. And there is a no bias and privately. Sponsor oversight, the quality is to be checked by some outsourcing persons, not his own faculty. Monitoring by the medical monitoring and the investigational product. The sponsor should be very much updating with computer systems and data management. Data governance is newly coming. Data governance means the data captures and the relevant metadata, including the audit trails. Audit trails should be kept because you can't change anything. Always audit trail will check it. And metadata means the data from the data. That is the synthesized data is called metadata. So relevant metadata, including the audit trails, review the data and metadata, then new data collection was done, then data transfer, exchange and mitigation, and ultimately the finalize the data, sets period the analysis, then retention and access, and ultimately the data destruction. If there is not actually needed, this is called the data governance. And newly in this R3 platform for the clinical trial, investigation procedures, protocol is the roadmap for any clinical trial. So they have been very much clear nowadays. Essential records in newly added thing, you have to record everything. Soft copy, hard copy, there's a clear guidelines. There's so many terminology has been removed because a new terminology has been come. The assent, coordinating committee, data acquisition tools, documentations, data integrity, investigator, institutions, metadata, opinion. Beforehand it was saying the comment, now it's opinion, monitoring plan, original medical records, relevance, reference safety information, RSI, service provider, any person is related to our clinical trial is called nowadays service provider. Standard operating procedures, well-being, and signatures. So beforehand there was a contract, now it is agreement. Unexpected adverse drug reaction, now it is suspected, unexpected, serious adverse reaction. Beforehand it was validation of the computer system, now it is computerized system validations. Beforehand it was essential document, now essential records. It was trial site, now it is investigator site. Source data, source document, now it's source records. Subject or trial subject, now it is subject trial participant. Subject identification code, now it's trial participant identification code. Vulnerable subject, now it's vulnerable participant. So new glossary term has been come. The new revised term has been done. Added to the glossary, there is a data acquisition tool, service provider, advanced reaction, investigation site. So the key takeaway is a risk-based proportionate GCP, new technology involved, AI readiness, participant-centric language is the main key takeaway. Now to our new era of the artificial intelligence, how the new GCP guidelines shape the future AI-enabled clinical trial. So the technology neutral language, fit for purpose principle, risk-based approach, data integrity requirements, and vendor oversight, all are the main application of the AI nowadays. So AI application in the clinical trial is the patient recruitment and screening. This easily can be done by using the AI. Safety signal detections. There are so many softwares that can detect the safety signaling by giving all the information of the participant into the AI platform. E-consent. E-consent is a newly developed by the AI and participant engagement. Risk-based monitoring. Throughout the India, throughout the world, any risk-based information immediately comes by the help of the AI, and we can give the red alert, we can give the black box of a particular drug. Electronic data capturing and clearing and is a very much applicable by the help of AI nowadays. And adaptive trial designing, it's a eye blinking time that can do the trial design by the help of AI. So the main principle of the AI used nowadays is a quality by design, risk-based quality management, computerized system validation, third-party oversight, that is the vendor management, and data governance, and ALCOG class. ALCOG class means the attributable A, L is a legible, C as a complementarious, O is the original, A is the accurate. And now coming the ALCOG class. So the enforced oversight AI-enabled trial is a demand. Sponsor must ensure, and the UA and the European Union must act for the involvement of the AI in the R3 platform. So the challenges of AI integration under E6R3 is the algorithm capacity, the black box problem, data privacy and the cross-border data flow, we can check by the help of AI, validation of the evolving models, biased and the general liability, regulatory uncertainty, and the safe competency. So the road ahead for the E6R3, AI, and the future GCP. The January 2025 first step for adoption of the E6R3. So it's a come with the, and also there's a proposition for the use of the AI. July 2020, UI, that is European Union, implemented the AI for the GCP. And 2026, we are expecting in the Annexure 2, the AI platform have some regulations will come into the Annexure 2. And in future, 2026, 27, there should be, we are expecting that the regulatory guidance on the AI trial has been newly come to reshape the GCP in ESS R3 or it may be R4, newly developed platform is coming in the future. The future of AI native GCP is we are expecting, and we have to see the future. So AI is a new platform, and the use of AI, we can control the GCP, and it will be very much easy to in various platforms of our GCP and the clinical trial. Thank you.